Alrighty, happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome back to our NoCodeOps live community show here at Zapier. I'm super excited to be back with our streams. And as I always like to say, please let me know if you're watching us live right now. We love for our events to be as interactive as possible. So I can already see a few members from our community. So shout out to Eric, Tali, Eugene, bonjour, and let me know where you're joining us from. If this is your first time here, we're NoCodeOps, an international community for operations professionals that leverage the power of AI and automation at work. We've got a super active Discord server, and so chances are, if you're watching this stream, you should be joining our community because you're definitely one of those people that we like to hang out with. And every now and then we come together for our community streams, inviting influential speakers from either the AI or automation space, or in this case today, we have an amazing speaker from the sales tech industry. And if sales tech is quite new to you, I'm even extra excited to be introducing you to Hanneke Vogels, who's here with us today. So without further ado, let me get her in. Hi, Hanneke. How's it going?
Hi. Everything's great. Yeah, so super excited about this one because we got a
Absolutely.
broad audience and people are very curious about what Phil's going to be. So here we
Yeah,
go.
and we have, people from all over the globe. We have Birmingham, Cape Cod, I'm assuming France. And so obviously the US, our friends, the Caribbean, great. I love it. I was just hinting to sales tech because obviously I know you're such a big figure in that industry. I was just saying to you in a little backstage chat how impressed I've been with your work this year. I came across your profile, and I was just astonished by the amazing work that you've been doing in sales tech. And it was kind of an interesting space because I didn't know too much about it, and so it was really beautiful to see how invested you were into adopting new technologies in sales and how well you've been doing that. You've been hosting an event. You're the director at Stryfes. So I would like to maybe give you a few minutes to introduce yourself and maybe tell us a little bit more about sales tech overall. And then after that, we can also pull in our mega rock star, Philip Lakin, who's also here with us, and he will be building some live agents that are being that we handpicked from your ebook. So, Hanneke, over to you.
Okay, well, thanks, Claudia, and thank you for opening up this way. Um, yeah, what to say? I'm a B2B sales veteran these days, and that makes me sound old, but you can't see, right? Now I'm 42 years old. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, and I still live there. And I've been in B2B sales most of my career, mostly in tech companies, which gave me the opportunity to learn a lot about tech. But I'm a sales from heart, and I'm a sales turned nerd because I saw within my own work and within the teams that I led how powerful processes and sales can be. And in 2020, I started my own consultancy company to help speed up B2B sales teams because when we're 1 foot in sales, we actually understand. So we don't come from tech, but we do know tech and we do know how to control all these things and make it work. And while I was doing that, doing a lot of consultancy, we as a company gained more attention because, well, the interest in tech is growing even within sales, which is deep and deeply human, right? We always think about timing and relationship and trust, and that's a very human thing. But today, something else is going on because that world of sales is so complex. You actually need tech to keep up. But a lot of B2B sales leaders struggle with that. So that's why we founded a company. But for me, that wasn't enough. So I am on a mission to bring sales to the next level. And I think that tech is important in that. So I wrote a book because there wasn't any. There was no book describing how to use tech within sales and do it in a way that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years already. Been an entrepreneur and am deeply involved in the B2B sales world, especially within Europe, but more and more in the US as well. And I do everything I can to make that sales job a little less hard.
And I have to say, it has been a lot more entertaining as well, because maybe people associate sales with not such a fun role to have, and you're definitely making it more entertaining and powerful. And actually, speaking of your book, I know somebody here has got a physical copy of it, and so should we get him on the stream? Here we go. And I promise you guys, we haven't, that was not planned. It just
No, but you can't plan anything with Phil, right?
Please use my affiliate link, salestech.com/Phil.
love it. Hi, Phil. Welcome to the
y'all.
stream.
Good to be here. Hanneke, good to see you. I'm super jazzed because when we ran the Anti-Roadmap Club, you were easily one of the most popular speakers we had. So people loved your inputs on all of this stuff. So I'm like honored to be up here with you. Here we go.
Brilliant.
Okay. We're done with kissing each other's ass. Let's
Absolutely.
get real, Claudia, because we will derail everything.
Absolutely. And in fact, I was going to say, speaking of books, you also wrote an ebook, right? Which I'm going to link into the chat. And can you tell us more about the ebook? And also, I wanted to ask you, agents, right? We've been chatting, especially here in our space, in our community. We've been talking a lot about AI agents. Obviously, we know it's a little bit of a buzzword right now, but it's also such a powerful new technology. And I would like for you to maybe tell us why you think agents are so revolutionary right now.
Oh gosh, that's a big question. And we try to keep it short, right? Because we're getting into the nerd stage within my head. So I can talk about this for hours. But to keep it concise, if you think of software traditionally, even if you infuse AI, it still requires people to understand how to work with it. Salespeople are generally quite impatient because the pressure on them is pretty high. They need to score targets. They don't always have time to actually invest to understand the tooling. So sales tech adoption is hard. But if you look at AI agents, those will be things that have one specific job and they'll do it for you. You don't even have to see them. That means that we don't have to tell people what to do. We're going to tell people that you don't have to do stuff anymore because we're automating it. So whereas adoption on one side, software and everything's complex and trying to get to understand it, for the end user in sales, AI agents are a godsend. They're a gift because it means that we're reducing the amount of work that they have to do. All those tiny steps that they have to take, like one by one, we can automate it. And we don't even need a complex piece of software to do that. It's just like there's Zapier's a perfect example. That's something no sales will ever see. Yay.
Absolutely. And when you came up with your 100 use cases, which, by the way, I've looked through all of them and they're all really valid use cases, were they drawn by your personal experience or by what you think future practical uses could be?
It was entirely different. So I said to myself, I love these agents. I want them. I think that they're a breakthrough for sales. I think they can help speed up sales. So I just said to myself, why not make 100 use cases? I had none. I had to dive into agents and how they work and what you can do with them before after that. So I said, I'm going to make 100 use cases. Big goal. And when I started diving into this, I was like, oh, dang it. So the first 10 were hard because I have to think them through and then like researching and everything. And while I got that going, while I hit 90, I was like, fudge, this is easy. I could do another 100. So this is how the ebook came together. And all of our ebooks are partially explaining how the specific tech works and how you should use it. And on the other hand, just give a ton of inspiration on what to do with it and how to use it sensibly.
Brilliant.
That's
And
how
so,
that ebook got together. And it's a big one for us. Usually we keep it a little bit shorter, but hey, I wanted 100 use cases, so I did it. I think I'll get to 1,000 if I wanted to.
yeah,
Because there's
oh,
just
easily.
so many things you can do.
Easily. Once you open that door, it's just like, okay, that's it. It's like a Pandora box. There's unlimited users, and you start coming up with all these great ideas for, ways that you can implement that. And so, Phil, you've been building agents every day, right? I've been watching your live streams, and even before that, you've always been a tinkerer and a builder yourself. Are you ready to build some more?
Oh, I'm ready. Like, I think one of the problems with this technology, like how powerful it is, right, is it kind of feels like a blank screen sometimes, right? Like, where do you even start? What do you even do? What's even possible? And the big things that I hope y'all walk away from this call with are two things. One, that like there's a lot more possible than you probably think, and the technology is advancing every day. So even if you don't think it's possible, just try it and see if it is, because sometimes you'll be shocked that, oh wow, I can actually type that into existence. That is possible. So pushing those limits. And two, finding and leveraging resources like this ebook that give you the inspiration and the guardrails to go, oh, you know what? I want to try that. Right. And so my hope today is that, like, you can go and look and find more inspiration, and that you can push the boundaries of what you even think is possible. That's my goal.
Brilliant. And so, with that in mind, should we start building?
Let's go.
Awesome. Are you okay to share your screen?
I can. Here we
Awesome.
go.
And in the meantime, people in our audience, I can see we've got Rex as well, Adam, Scott, Eric. Please, we do encourage you to be as interactive as possible, engage with us. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And I can see a comment from Rex here. I totally agree with Phil. The amount of use cases this tech can achieve can lead to analysis paralysis. Yeah, sometimes
that's with everything in tech, right? So once you see all the possibilities, you're overwhelmed with what you can do. And I always say follow the money. So where do you bleed? Where is time flying out of the window because you're doing stuff that doesn't really do a lot for you? What costs you a lot of time? Because that's where you need to look at it first. So I always ask my audience, which is mostly B2B sales leaders, I say, where's your time killer? Where's your conversion bleeder? If you have those in sight, you know where to start. Your biggest one is your starting point.
Absolutely. And that's one of the questions we often get in the community as well. People are overwhelmed by the amount of tools and possibilities that there are. And our mantra has always been, okay, what's your use case? What do you actually need it for? Because that's, that should be your first starting point. Address the pain point, and then, as you're saying, follow the money, or see what your client is trying to get to, because that's going to be your guiding light. I could be recommending you, we could be giving you recommendations on thousands of tools that we've used, but there's not one solution that fits all. So that's why we're here.
It's not about the tool, it's about the task.
Brilliant. And Phil, can I share your screen?
You can. Let's make dreams.
Alrighty, here we go.
So, Hanneke, I have this internal version of your ebook pulled up here. And so, Claudia, do you remember which number we were going to start with?
Yep. So we've got page 13, number 6, lead qualification.
Oh, I like that one. I'm so happy that you took that one out.
Here we go. Okay, so this is diving right into Hanneke's ebook, right, for all of these inspirations on agents that you can build on the sales and go-to-market side. So let's start with this one, number 6, lead qualification. So description: evaluating your leads based on specific criteria such as budget, authority, needs, and timeline, which is the BANT structure. Awesome. To determine sales readiness. So how this works, AI integrates scoring models to analyze lead information against BANT criteria to prioritize leads, enabling sales teams to focus on those with the highest conversion potential. So I love this because this is such a good example of something that you would typically pay a lot of money for a point solution for, that an agent can just go and do for you.
Yes.
So yeah. Hanneke, I'm just gonna hop. Any other information that you want to give here before I hop in and start building this thing?
Yeah. So what we do with these things is, for our clients, is first we decide, okay, what answers do we want for BANT? Like I always give like 3 options. So when it comes to budget, reserved budget, not reserved but available, or no budget. Authority, like always you have like 3 options, and we score them. The highest one on 10, the lowest one on 0.
Yep.
And once you have that, you put those fields in your CRM, and from that point on, once you've given the answer, it will automatically score eventually to say, hey, this is a I don't know, 50 lead, and a 50 means orange, maybe not good. 100 means amazing, and below 50 or below 30, it's not worthwhile.
I love it. So actually, I'm going to ping you back in a moment with some of those specifics.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've done, Hanneke, here, and by the way, anyone can do this, very easy. I do not like to write instructions for agents because I'm not as smart as AI. So what I like to do is give what I call like a super just easy first pass, and then let AI write the instructions for my AI agent. So before I even go into Zapier, and by the way, you can now do this in Zapier as well. Like there's a way to do this, but I really like doing it via ChatGPT so I can go back and forth with the AI a lot more. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, write the instructions for an AI agent that does the following.
And sometimes there's nobody better than AI to be speaking the AI language.
It's true.
So Hanneke, I want you to be my fact checker here.
Yeah.
Right? Take a look here. So we're going to grab the input. We're going to normalize the data. So clean data structure and system format. It's already going to be doing that. So I can get rid of that. It's already doing this. Okay. So BANT scoring, apply scoring logic. So how does this sound like for budget?
This is exactly what I said, right?
Yep. Pretty cool. Great. Hanneke, all this looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is why I love using AI for this stuff, is because it can get like 80, 90, 95% of the way there. And then if there's any small tweaks that I'm going to make, which you'll see that I'm going to make in a moment. Great. This is all pretty good. Okay. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to grab the this part of the agent, the instructions. This part, let's take a look here. Survey and breakdown in CRM, allow reps to mark incorrect scores. Okay, we'll come back to that because I'm really more focused on the scoring. So let me just do this really quick. I'm going to talk to my computer. So this is more, I want this to be more focused on just the scoring that is coming in via a form. And the form will have fields like company URL, and the person and their role. And so I want you to be able to take all of that information, run the BANT, and then send the end objective of the goal is to send out this stuff via Slack. Cool. So I'm
Sounds
just putting
good.
that in here.
And actually, if people in the audience would like to build along live here with us, I'm going to drop a link into the comments for you to get started. So if this is a good chance, if you haven't tried agents yet and you would like to give them a spin, you can do it now. And because you get like 3 professionals ready to help if you get stuck.
Cool. Hanneke, how's all this stuff looking over here so far as like for examples? Any updates that you would make?
Yeah, I was just a little bit triggered about the form, but we're doing that because we don't have a CRM integration available to us right now, right? So that's why it just helps us, which is super smart of you. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah,
Interpret the role, authority, yes, scored, fake, budget, yeah, no budget, just explain, just curious. Yeah, also a total of 20. Assign a grade, hot, warm, and cool. Yep.
Cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy all of this and then send to Slack like this. I'm going to take all of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Zapier agents. And essentially what I've just done is created the job description for this agent, right? So agents need job descriptions. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste in everything. And for trigger, right, I can add, this is based on a form submission, or this is based on like someone getting marked as a new lead in the CRM. Anything you can trigger in Zapier, you can trigger here. It can be time-based. It can be based on demand, whatever. But because we're just testing this one out, I'm just going to do on demand. And I'm just going to run a test here. Now, the test is going to come back saying, hey, Phil, like, we don't know any of the information about this person. Can you give us this info? So, yeah, let's do that. So it's so the product that we are selling is Zapier, and the lead is, and I don't know.
Put in your own name to see if you would be a client for me.
If I would be a client for, yeah. Okay, so wait. So, Hanneke, what's your website?
Stryfes.com.
Spell for me.
STRYFES.com. Great.
In fact, that's actually so good that what I'm going to do is this. I'm actually going to go here and say, update this for Stryfes. Is that spelled right?
No, you're missing the F in between. YF. No. Yeah, there.
There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to have AI do is like go and look at your website. So it can make some of these things more specific.
And I don't know if people here again have had experience building with agents, but that's one of my favorite feature, where you can just like chat to the agent, and that will immediately affect the instructions that you might have given it. So the way that it also updates itself is super cool to me.
FES, yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Come.
I just added the search thing, so it's actually going to go look at your website. Well, there's your little guy.
There it is.
So now it's reading about your website, it's looking more about BANT framework, and now it's saying cool. Great.
Yep.
Okay, so we're getting a little more specific here.
Very cool.
It's pretty good, but I want to say make the, so this is where it's really good to go back and forth with AI, right? Determine the authority. So let me just say this out loud.
And maybe, Phil, as you tweak the prompt, I can get one of the questions that we have from the audience for Hanneke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So from Eugene, how could these tools be used for lead generation for a business? Say, for example, an accountancy company, how would they benefit from it? And it could apply to any other industry as well.
Yeah. So if you look at, let me tell you a little story about this. So the other day I was working with a team of SDRs, and we were talking about the anatomy of a cold call. One simple task, right? One task, making the call. we totally took it apart. It consists out of 27 elements in a cold call, varying from prepping to closing in the end and handling all the admin stuff and everything in between, pattern interrupts, openers, permission-based, whatever. You can like do a lot with it. So if you look at lead generation, if you take lead generation as it is entirely apart, you'll have hundreds of tasks. And from all of these tasks, if you look at the state of AI right now and technology as a base, more than half of these tasks can be automated, can be backed by AI or completely done by AI. So that means that you cannot speak of lead generation looking at it. You need to pick it apart and see where does the human not add value when it comes to scraping information from the internet, whether it is to crafting emails or finding the perfect recipes to reach out or whatever you can think of. That is like, if you pick it apart, there's so many little tasks that you can automate and in total, like big chunks of the process. But it's like, I don't feel like you should automate it entirely. You should just like use humans at what they're best at. And that is that customer interaction.
Yeah. Or sometimes, they could also amplify the work that you're already doing. So when it comes to lead generation, as you're saying, it's not going to magically craft your perfect leads, but it can help you identify it, right? Maybe it's already sitting into your CRM and you haven't noticed.
Pick your whole process apart into like separate tasks, as small as you can make them, and then start adding stuff. Start with simple stuff like we're doing today. This is something that we're building within half an hour. There's a ton of these agents you can build in 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. In the beginning, you have a learning curve, but eventually you'll be able to build it just as fast as Phil can. So knowing that, start with the smaller tasks within that lead generation process and just move on progressively once you like understand how things work, because you'll see, like if you do 10 small tasks that you can build within one day, you're going to be a hero within your company.
Absolutely. That's
That
what we
makes
love to say
such
as well.
a big difference. So
Become the
yes,
hero of your company. Yeah.
in every single part of the sales process, but in every single part of any company today that works with a computer, they do a shit ton of dumb work.
They
and
do.
You can fix that now.
And something like a common denominator that the majority of us have, whether you're working for a SaaS, you've got your own small business, whatever it is, but there's always going to be clients with pain points, and you're going to have a solution ideally for them. And so you could definitely use an AI agent to analyze, the pain points of your clients and craft a strategy, for whether it's a personalized outreach, whether it's content generation, right? Eugene, you're mentioning leads generation to attract them. That could come from your content. So if you know that everyone is struggling with documentation, you can generate content around that topic, which will then attract your leads. And then voila, you've got a solution for them. Chef's kiss, that's how I see it being super powerful.
Yeah. So the other day, one of my friends, one of our consultants, a good friend called me. He said, I got something brilliant. Like, what? He says, we now created an agent that you can call. You could, and it's going to interview you. You can talk to it and it will create blogs for you. Like, what? Like, all of these people don't know how to write stuff, don't know how to like get their information out of their head in a sensible way. You just call with a machine now.
I love it.
It's just brilliant.
I'm ready to hop back in if that's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Come on.
So I did a few things here and I'll walk you all through it. The first thing I did was I had to tell AI specifically, like the BANT scoring should be specifically related to what Stryfes is doing, right? So it really took that into consideration, Hanneke, as you can see, like, if they express a clear need for sales tech, right? Like that's a big deal, right? So stuff like that. So it looked at your website and helped flush out your ICP and your BANT score to be more specific as opposed to generic. And so, yeah, so now I have all these instructions, including the form fields. Right now, look, these could come out of your CRM, or they can come directly from the form, right? Leads fill out lead forms all the time, or they can come from some list, you know, that you've scraped together. Either way, I'm just doing it via form because it's pretty simple. Then what I did was I took the form fields. I'm really lazy. I don't like creating forms if I don't have to step by step. So I have this extension called Form Builder for Docs, where I can just paste in all the form fields and just press create, and it will create the form for me. So now I have the form.
Okay, so now I have another use case for yourself. Create an agent with just a button, say, create this form for me.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I think that's we're not too far away from that. So I'm going to link this to a sheet. So I have these responses. And Hanneke, can you do me a favor? While I'm doing this, let me manage this and make it public for anyone with the link to respond. Publish. So Hanneke, I would love for you to publish two different links or two different responses here. Take a look here. One is a good fit and one's a bad fit.
Okay, good.
Okay, sounds good.
Let me take a look here.
Where are you dropping the link for me?
I'm gonna put it right in.
We've got a private chat.
Yeah, I have the three-way chat for us. Hold on one second here.
Oh yeah, or LinkedIn, which by the way, people from LinkedIn, we're also I'm watching you here on my big screen. YouTube is here, so keep those questions coming.
Cool. Here's the form. If you can, while I'm doing these next steps, you can submit a good one and a bad one. And then cool. So now our form is live. So what I need to do, the first thing is I need to go to my agent. I need to give it access to these tools. So the triggers are actually not going to be on demand anymore. It's going to be when a Google form is submitted. So let's go here and find Google Forms. New form response. And Hanneke, you might want to go on mute because I think we can hear your keyboard.
Thank you.
Yep.
And we've got Barron's that says, do these agents pay for themselves? Because we've got very low ticket and high ticket product services, SaaS products, just thinking through ROI. And Barron's, you can start using and building agents for free, actually. So you can try them out.
$3.99.
Yeah, free 99.
Cool. So what I've done is I said, okay, anytime this form comes in as a trigger for this agent, I'm then going to want this AI employee to go do this job. So its objective, right, is, to do all of this, right? Here's its task. And then at the end of it, I want it to be sending a Slack notification. So the agent doesn't by default have access to Slack. And by default, it does have internet research capabilities, but I still like to do this. So let me take a look here.
You can insert tools. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to insert, there's a website, do some Google research, right? So I'll give it those capabilities for that. And then I will also give it on the Slack notification. I'll give it access to send me a Slack message. So Slack. And I will find send direct message. And now I'm only going to want this one to send it to me, though I could let AI choose all the fields, like if this was a dynamic thing I was setting up for my whole team. But we're not doing that today because we're just testing this. If this wants to load, try again, insert tool, Slack.
And so you can see how easy it is to just equip the agent with all the apps that you already use. You just have to add it to that chat.
Yep. Cool. So check this out. So I'm saying, cool, it's going to use my account, but where it sends the who we want to send it to, I'm going to select that just because every time I don't want the agent to think there. I'm just like saying, hey, like for this one, just send it to me. Just like I'm just hard coding this in here. Give me a moment to search. There I am. And I can save the rest and let the agent figure out the rest. Cool. So now I am going to, let's take a look here. So Hanneke, if you've done your thing, there should be some responses in here. Amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this agent. So I'm going to go back to the agent and I'm going to say retest now that I've updated the instructions. And now when you're looking at this agent preview, think of it in a few ways. One, you can test stuff with it and you can test behaviors, but two, you can also make slight updates and train it better, right? So, I didn't like that output exactly. I want you to have that output look more like this, or, oh, you didn't do this exactly right. I want you to do this, right? So you can both tweak things in here and test things in here. So what it's doing is it's looking for that. And by the way, if you click any of these carrots, you can see it thinking, right? So let's take a look here. It's generating the action. Oh, we're into an issue. Now, the cool part about agents is they can also fix their own issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the lead intake. Okay, so this is where AI gets you in trouble, right? Because it said something about, I want you to send it to the lead intake form, right? So it was listening to its instructions. So I'm saying post the message directly to me via DM. And now I'm going to retest it.
You know what's funny? Because a lot of people are, when they see this and they're not into this yet, they're like, oh my God, no, it's just so much work and it's so complex. How do I, it's like, the thing is that you need to like build some resilience to things going wrong. Because when you're doing this, you'll always run into stuff. At one point, I was with Zapier automating the planning for my karate club. So I did the planning for years for my karate club, and the last couple of years I did that with Zapier connected to a Google Sheet and to Google Calendar. So I made some big mistakes where people got the wrong time zones because I forgot to put in a T somewhere. It's like these things happen. It's like tiny little things that you run into and it just happens. And you need to build some resilience for that because that's just the way it is. You will, as good as you feel, you're amazing at these things. You just made a small mistake.
Right. And part of that
happens. That's part of it.
Whenever you choose shortcuts, right, mistakes happen, right? So this is where testing really comes into play.
Yeah.
And the way that I would describe this is like, think about it like if you look in this day and age of AI, who in their right state of mind would ever like just start from scratch when it comes to writing a job description you're posting on the internet for people, right? Like we're all using AI to do that. And imagine if AI, I didn't fully read the AI that it got, that I prompted, and it was like, oh, it took its best guess and was like, you need to be good at Microsoft Teams, but we don't use Microsoft Teams. So someone comes on to the interview call and they're like, oh, what about Microsoft Teams? Like, I got to update that, right? So, checking your work, especially anything that's AI generated, whether it's the instructions you're giving it or the output that it's giving you, are all really important. And by the way, here's our output, right? We just built a full lead scoring bot that looked at my company, the website, and it judged all of these things, right? And I can do stuff here, right? Like I can make it go further. So now I want to tweak this. For each score you give, include the reason you gave that score in the Slack DM, right? So
and that's the magic. Now it's going to affect the behavior. It's going to change the instructions that you just gave it. You can see there, it just added it at the bottom. I love that.
Yep. So now it updated my instructions, right? And I was able to just do that here. because me doing it here is going to give a better input into this than I ever could. Cool. Now it's like, all right, this is the Slack message I would get upon this submission that Hanneke gave via this form. And so it's saying, cool, 5 out of 5. Reason. The lead states, I have unlimited budget for cool stuff. I love you so much. Great. So it's
I was wondering where you were going to see that.
Great. Right. So it gave me an overall score of an A. This is awesome. Right. So this is really cool. Now, the other thing that a lot of people stop here and they're like, cool. So AI can read stuff and give me back a summary. Well, agents can do things, right? So beyond just scoring, I can say something like, if score is X, right, send to this channel or create this email coming directly from me, right? So check this. I'll give you guys a great example here, right? Update instructions so that if overall score is an A, draft an email from me that is going to the lead with why they should book a call ASAP. So it can also do things, not just summarize things, right? So now think about like different paths and stuff. So what it's going to do is it's going to probably draft this email, but it's going to ask me for probably just do it via Slack because that's what I've given it access to. But I can also give it access to my Gmail where it can just store a draft. And typically what I do there is I'm just like, put it under this label and they're just the things I go through at the end of the day, or send me a Slack message with that draft link so I know to go there, right? So let's take a look here. Workflow has been updated. I'll send a Slack DM with advanced scores and draft an email. Great. Here's a preview. Preview looks good, but show me the draft of the email you would create as well and actually draft that in Gmail drafts.
So you need to give it access in your tools, insert tools. You need to add Gmail. That's why.
Bingo. So
and we've got an interesting question from Christopher Chaffin. Is there a way to go into the backend and engineer the outputs to be in line with your company objectives? And
yes.
So, yeah, go on, Phil.
Yeah, so I'll give you a few things on that in just a moment. But I'm just going to say create draft. I'm going to give it that action. And I will say through my account. Cool, it already has that. Great. Okay, I can show you draft the email to be sent to that lead, but I currently don't. Okay, now try. So you can talk to it just like a human. Yes, you can do that. And what's really cool there is this. Let's say there's a doc that has your company objectives, right? You can add that doc. So there's two different types of tools that agents have access to, and I'll walk you through both of them. One is like has these little blue things called optimized for AI search. The others are just standard actions and triggers via Zapier, right? So all of your 7,000, apps with all of your 30,000 plus actions and triggers, all accessible. We've also built these new types of connectors where AI is optimized to read that stuff. So if I have a Google Doc, right, that has all of my company objectives in it, I can write out my company objectives. And even if they get updated, I can add that as a data source to this agent that the agent must reference here as well. So short answer is
cool.
yes.
So I don't need to add like all of these reference files, which I do in ChatGPT and Claude and whatever I need to build. Like
memorize it.
These project knowledge files. I don't even have to do it. I could just literally connect to where it already is.
Precisely.
You got it.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Leave that.
Because that's how it manipulates your data and it just interacts with it. It gets that knowledge. Yeah, it's quite awesome.
Yep. And on that note, right, like here, let me just show you all this really quick. So Cool. So what it just did is it generated an email for me and put this in my Gmail drafts. But it's funny because it's coming from me to me, but it's saying, hey, Phil, thank you for reaching out. You know, you're interested in smoothing your sales process, right? And it's just like, you know, now look, here's the thing. This is why you have to have AI check. I don't want Phil to know my BANT score, right? I don't want him to know
That's weird.
That's weird, right? So I can say like, don't include BANT info, right? I'm just talking to it, you know?
Thank you for reaching out. We've now identified you as a hot lead, and we're going to spam the life out of you.
This is where you got to go back and forth with it, you know? So here we go. Much better. Sounds like you're in a great position to take advantage. Much better way of saying you're a hot lead. I'd love to discuss. Here we go. Right. So that's the full workflow right there. And then lastly, if I were to say something like this, check this out. Create a, let's call it a detailed ICP doc for Stryfes. So check this out. And this goes back to the question. I just want to show you all an example of this. So it's now reading your website. It's going to create your ICP. I'm assuming that this is like pretty good. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grab all of this. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. So I'm going to copy all of this.
This is really funny. What you're doing right now is you're building 3 more agents from the ebook at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just giving this agent multiple things to do, right? So now what I can do is I can do this. I can put this in here. I can call this like ICP for Stryfes. Great. And then I can go back to my agent and I can say something like, note, when creating BANT scores, also reference this doc and bring info from here into reasoning, reasons given, and drafted email. So now I'm going to give it access to that doc. So I'm going to add tool, Google Docs. I'm going to do the data optimized one. I'm going to use my account, and it should be the Stryfes one right here. Great. And there we go.
There's a good trail of security questions in the chat.
Okay, yeah. Ask away, Claudia. Can you go through them?
Yeah, absolutely. So from Shay, here's a question I get often: how is the data protected, and what is shared with Zapier / how much can it share? People get very touchy on access to that data, and we were just chatting. I was just chatting to them, and we were just saying, I think the same concerns apply when people upload things onto Google Docs, just like what you did. And then Eva, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, she followed up and she said, I think people are concerned because they see that data, that information travels between platforms. And so, yeah.
Like in general, this is a discussion. Security, data, information security is a concern. And I think that if you look at all of the tools available right now, Zapier is least of your worries because it's a big enterprise with all of its trust center at the right place. So it's more like a compliance and information security check that you need to do, but it's adding a platform. So if you want to add Zapier to your stack to be able to build these things and like give people the access to it, you need to check it. And it doesn't really matter if information moves from Google Docs to Zapier and stays there, or it's just in transit there.
Yep.
In general, you need to have like your compliance and information security questions answered. And for that, you want to work with a big platform like Zapier or any other that has all the stamps on the front door and knows what it's doing, in comparison to other like startup kind of platforms that don't have this settled yet.
Yep, 100%. So a couple of things there. First, the biggest fear that I hear the biggest fear that folks are coming to me with when they look at the power of this stuff, they're like, hold on, is Zapier going to train all of its data on the documents and information I'm giving it? And the answer is no. You don't have to worry about that, right? We're fully GDPR compliant, right? We're SOC 2 Type 2, right? Like we've gone through all of the rigors of working with some of the biggest companies in the world on this stuff, right? And so that is all safe with us, right? The biggest thing that like we're constantly learning and improving on, right, is, maybe some of the instructions that you're giving stuff, but like your data that you're hooking up or your data sources, we're not training on that stuff, right? So it's not like using the free version of ChatGPT where it's like, oh, I uploaded my API keys here when I was asking questions, and now the internet has access to my API keys because now they're there, right? Like that's not happening. So that's thing one. The other thing is like, part of the problem of the ever-growing sales technology stack is that there's so many point solutions that y'all don't even know like where our data is even going to and who's doing it. The power of something like Zapier is I can go into my agent's platform, right? And all the different people that are using all these different agents, I can like look at all the activity that's happening in a centralized capacity. This is a big deal for observability and governance, right? As opposed to things happening across 50 different tools. I can just search the activity here and it's like, oh, what was going on here? What was Phil doing here? Huh, interesting.
Like
right?
In general, what is happening today is that SDRs, sales development reps, are having their own stack. They're having shadow IT because their boss is not offering them any good.
Yep.
So what's the alternative if you don't like make this available within your company?
Yep. And I'd say that the two things that Zapier solves for on that front, right, as an AI orchestration platform is one, first of all, it's observable. So everyone can, like your IT team can collaborate with you on it and all that stuff. And, and it can be governed properly. But two, when everyone's going out and making their own things, no one gets the benefits of the wins from anyone else, right? Whereas here, other people can now leverage this agent really easily, right? There's different ways to do it. I can make this just automatically be working for everyone and no one even sees that it's an agent. They just, like, wow, I get really great Slack messages now about our leads, right? But you can also empower people to build their own things. But if those things work on their private productized, like productivity-led instance, then they can show it off and other people can use it, right? So like everyone gets the benefit of each other's wins, and everything's observable, which I think is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a follow-up question from Shay. So Zapier does not use any of the data we are connecting to enrich our own contact database or lead? Yeah.
No, we don't do that.
We're good.
Yeah, it's part of
the good side of the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of like working with a not fly by company on this stuff, right? Like Zapier's been around for a long time, will continue to be around for a long time, and like we work with some of the biggest companies, household names that you know and love every day, so they're trusting us as well with this stuff. Yeah, I want to see. So it did everything for the first one. I also want to see really quick, like. Can you retest using another form submission? I want to see if I can. It's funny. I haven't even tried to like really have this do that yet. Please provide the details from another form submission. Can you just look at the Google form connection I gave you.
I wonder if that's just adding more instruction. It might lead it to hallucinate a little bit. What if you click retest the agent?
So yeah, I retested and it just went back to retesting the first thing. I can always copy and paste that data in, right? That's strange. So here, let me just do this, right? So let me take.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Shay. And we appreciate you for that. He says, for the record, I love Zapier and I thought it was just worth covering. Yeah, 1000%. Those are questions that we get all the time and it's good for us to address them when we can. So thank you for asking.
Yep. And by the way, one of the other really cool things here is it can do internet research for folks. So like it, you can have the agent say like, say you're an event, say like, I don't know, you're a manager of speakers at tech conferences and people are submitting so that you can represent them as speakers. One thing you can do is say, hey, find, do internet research on like the last 2 or 3 things this person spoke at and like give me the links to those things and then maybe analyze them. Right. So lots of different things you can do. And then, I know everyone's like always talking about like, oh, like I'm seeing these crazy big workflows and diagrams on LinkedIn or like these AI employees and these org charts. All these things are is just groups of these things. That's all it is. That's all it is. So
it just looks interesting, right? To have like big flows. I hate big flows because it's hard to troubleshoot. So
yeah, I like to break them up.
I break them up in different agents and just use one to hop from one to another.
That's best practice. Actually, we do encourage people to do that, not to overload the agent. And actually, now that we have pods, you can group them together into little families of agents that have similar goals and scopes, so that they can not interact with each other, but come active or be called when you request particular tasks.
I think the same concerns apply when we upload. Yeah, exactly. But Google, right? Like I think Google maintains access to stuff for like test stuff. Like no one can go into your Google account, right? And just be like, oh, we're going to take all this data, right? Or like, it's not training some AI internally. Maybe the metadata is, but like not the actual data.
We got you, Eugene.
Yay!
You didn't expect it to be so powerful. What do you mean? You should expect it from us.
That's the thing I always hear on this stuff is like, I didn't know Zapier could do X, Y, Z. And it's like, that's why this is so important. Like, and to Hanneke's point, like having someone with those points of view and like, saying, hey, can this be done? And then actually doing it, I think is a big deal. So Hanneke, I think you've inspired me for my next bunch of live streams. I'm probably just going to start building some of your stuff.
Well, you already build a couple of things. Well, maybe I want to challenge you because you've been like talking about my book, but in my book, that book has been written in 2023, even though like the English version had a rerun last year. There's still stuff that could be done or faster already. So you don't need a separate tool for that. I want to challenge you to go through that book and pick out 1 or 2 things that you think like you're going to say, I don't need an extra tool for that anymore. I can already build it.
Yep. Yeah. I think I'm going to.
Can we throw that challenge to our audience as well? So people that I can see there's like more than 50 people still watching. So we already dropped the link to the ebook, but I'm going to do that again. If you end up building any of those use cases, send them my way. I might get you on a stream and we can do a little show and tell and you can show us how you've built them.
Claudia, real quick, can you bring up my screen for a second to the question that somebody asked?
Sure.
I have the answer to that, Edwin. So the question was, how do you keep up with all the AI, all the advancements, how overwhelming it is? It's funny.
You wrote something about that this morning, right?
I just wrote something about that this morning. So it's my framework called News. Right. So, oh my God, have you seen this new tool? News. Need. Is this solving a real problem I have? Where would it actually fit in my workflow? Is it worth my time right now or should I track it for later? And does it replace, improve, or layer on to something I already use? Like,
okay. Can I say something? If I would throw this into my Notion page, like that tool, just a link and then like a special page for it and then act as a trigger for me to get like feedback from an agent saying no, did it go, or yes, this is worth it. This is just another agent.
Yeah, you could
Sorry.
literally. So there's a more user-facing version of agents that we have that can look at data sources called chatbots in Zapier, and like I could literally take this, paste it into chatbots, and like make a chatbot for myself. So I can just paste articles in it. It's like, hey, based on what you know about me and what I'm currently doing, should I care? And then it will tell you.
I would put a widget on my mobile phone, like on the home screen, and then just like throw in the URL, say go.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Brilliant. Any last words from any of you? And actually, I just want to say, if you've enjoyed our event today, which I think you did, because these people are awesome, and I'm so very fortunate to be learning with such amazing professionals. So thank you, Hanneke, for being here, and Phil for being here with us as well, building all these agents. And I know that you've been doing it every day, so it's really cool to see, and it's cool to see you, Hanneke, spearheading, the sales tech machine. I also wanted to say that every third Friday of the month, we host a co-building session in our community. So if you're interested into building some more agents with us, and it's going to be me and my colleague Bryce Vernon, that you might know because he's a LinkedIn celebrity, join the community, and we'll get building. The ebook link is not working. Let me check that, Marisa.
Yeah, and by the way, if any of you have questions on like building stuff, like please don't be shy. Just add me on LinkedIn and shoot me a DM.
Brilliant. What do you both think will come next? So we've seen MCPs from the start of the year. We've seen the MCPs. We've seen the AI agents. What will be next?
For me, it will be massive adoption before technical developments. I think that we're at a point that we need that adoption within companies. So that's why I enjoy being on these shows that you have, and all of the work that you're doing, Phil, because leadership needs to understand. So the next thing is that adoption's on the table when it comes to and embracing this amazing stuff.
Yeah, I think adoption is big. I think if you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn and listening to people like me and Hanneke and Claudia, you'd think the whole world knows about this stuff. They don't. They're not using it. Most people use ChatGPT for 1 week and then never use it again. Like that's the experience of AI of most of the world, right? So know that you're way ahead of the curve already, even by being on a call like this. And take that to your advantage, right? And be the person at your company. Don't assume your leadership knows how to do this stuff. Be the person at your company that is saying, hey, I can solve this. I can teach other people how to do this, right? Being that translation layer, you will be the most valuable asset at your company over the next 2 years if you can just be that translation layer for people. So don't shy away from that.
I love that so much. From zero to hero. And hit us up if you need help, throughout that process. We're here to help. All right. Thank you both. This was awesome, just as I imagined it would be. We're at time. And so I'm going to wish you both a great rest of your day. And I can't wait to be, innovating and building with you even more in the future. So thank you.
Appreciate you, Claudia.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.